I know! Where the hell have I been? First of all, hello new subscribers. Thank you for joining the party. I hope that you will have a cookie. You can bring booze if you want. I'm not opposed. I had made a video about a week ago of a review of Golden Sun, but it was at 7 o'clock in the morning and I had not slept yet, and it was a mess. Like, a mess. I was gonna post it and just go with that, but it was a mess. Not that this one's gonna be any better, but we have high hopes. So, there's my pathetic excuses. Let's move on. With everyone, welcome back to my sitting room this time. My name is Diesel, and you are most welcome. Or you as I messed up my own intro. But professionalism to a key. This is not a professional. It doesn't matter. Keep going. Here we are going to be reviewing part 2 of the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown. This one is called Golden Sun, and that is sun with an O and not with a U. Yeah. Let's go. I said that already. Stop with the repeating. Just call cut because it's not working. It's not working. There's not really that much that I can tell you about Golden Sun in terms of what it's about without spoiling Red Rising. So if you've read Red Rising, hey, I assume that you know what's going on. And if not, all I can tell you is it is a continuation of the storyline of Red Rising. It's no better than the 7 o'clock in the morning one. I'm a troll. So what? That wasn't necessary. We're gonna start our thoughts off the way we always start our thoughts off, and that is with writing style. Pierce Brown's writing style hasn't changed from one book to the other, and considering it's a series, it's probably a good thing. I kind of like to think of the writing style in Red Rising as a very modernized Shakespeare style. Confusing as F in some points, but quite poetic. I'm not sure whether it's because of writing style or if it's because of the super complex world, but sometimes I had difficulty picturing what was going on. So I wasn't really sure whether that was down to writing style or to the complexity of the whole world, but it kind of affected my enjoyment of the book a bit because I found it really hard at moments to connect with what was happening, especially in the battle scenes because things move so fast. But other than that, writing style was poetically, modernly Shakespearean. How pretentious sounding. So, plotline. First of all, I really like the journey that Darrow has gone on. I think his progression as a character is so good because he went from being like, I'm not going to say a weak character because I don't think he was ever weak, but he has really progressed in his journey. And it's such a pleasure to take that journey with Darrow. He's one of those characters that I really enjoy. I know there are some people that don't really like him, but I think he's great. And even like, he does some really atrocious things, but I can still kind of, I'm okay with it. Maybe that's because of the next thing we're going to talk about, but I just think, like, Darrow has empathy even after he's done terrible things, and he kind of seems to live by this, I mean, if you're going to go hard type of violence, but I do think he has regrets, and that makes it slightly easier to live with. I do question whether Pierce Brown is a psychopath, though, when it comes to book characters, because literally thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people die in this book, just like that. One minute they're all living and breathing and having wonderful happy times, and the next minute they're all dead. This happens multiple times throughout the book, to the point where I was trying to weigh up which one was more violent, Red Rising or Golden Sun, and then I kind of came to the agreement in my head that it was Red Rising, and I was like, well, why is that? And I think it's because so many people die in Golden Son that I lost all empathy. And it's just like, oh, another 1,000 people are dead. You did that to me, Pierce Brown. You made me totally meh about the deaths of thousands. Now I feel like a psychopath, and I question my own mental health. Have you thought of being friends with Rick Yancey? Because he also could be a book writing, character killing psychopath. I think you get on really well. Yeah, this book is violent. It's not a Sunday morning cup of tea type of read. It's fast and it's intensely violent. There's lots of murder. Terrible things happen to a lot of people. Yeah, oh. And I don't even know if it's great or not, because I don't know if the murder sits well with me. Although I did just say that I can kind of empathize with Darrow murdering people. I no longer know what I am. These books have changed me as a person, and I don't know, like, oh, thank God it's just a book and I only have to question my mental sanity in some ways. I need a drink. Now before I start questioning my own sanity, did I like the book? I think I liked Red Rising more, just because there's thousands of deaths in this one, although that didn't really bother me. If you kind of want to look at it in terms of, this book is Hunger Games and Game of Thrones, death toll wise, mixed in together. It's a lot more extreme than Hunger Games, and I've never actually read the Game of Thrones books, so on those I can't comment, but it has a very psychopathic, kill everyone type of vibe. I think I did enjoy Red Rising more, just because I was able to keep up with Red Rising a bit more. I could kind of understand what was going on more. I could picture it a lot more in my head. It felt quite a lot more intimate than this one. Also, a major problem I had with this book, and it probably wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been reading on an e-reader, but there were so many characters that it was really hard to keep up. Now, in fairness to Brown, there is a content section of characters explaining who they are at the start of the book, but because I was reading on an e-reader, it was really hard to go back and forth between the two. So I spent most of my time confused, but I imagine if you were reading a real book, you wouldn't have that problem. I did actually, in praise of Brown's writing, there are so many characters, but they all have their own distinct personalities and styles when you can consider who they are. Like Mustang is still my bae, and I think I just said bae. Whatever. She is such an awesome character and so complex. Severo is back and as badass as ever. Some of the bad guys, the ones that aren't in it as much as the other characters, were really confusing. Do you know who I really liked? Train of Thought. This is no better than the 7 a.m. thing, and it's only 8 o'clock. Theodora. She's hardly ever in it, but she was just fabulous. I just wanted to love her. Okay. Yeah, so I probably will finish the series just because it's going to be a trilogy and we're already 2 books in, so why stop now? But I did like Red Rising more than Golden Son, just for the reasons that I explained before. If you have any idea what they are, because really, there's a lot of this and not a lot of thought here. If I planned these out before I started speaking, we might get somewhere. I promise you, when I write on my blog, it's slightly more thought out. But that's only because I usually film these first and get all of the mind vomit out of the way, and then have clear thoughts for them. That's not the way it's going this time. Okay, that's enough. I'm now going to go do maybe another book review. I'm so behind, but I read all my January to be reads, which was only 2, let's be honest. Okay. Just be quiet now, Jenny. Just leave. Until next time, Slán! Agus go raibh maith agat for coming. Did that in the wrong order. Oh, so out of practice. Adios!